Okay, all right, everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I do have another channel that is more dedicated to like spirituality, personal empowerment, those types of things. It's called Wisdom and Brews. I would link it if if I was if I had more time and I was a little more motivated. But yeah, go check it out. So this I'm gonna do a few videos about narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, and um, this one has to do with how to really win against a narcissist, or this idea of winning. Um, so a lot of people, it's just that they feel when it comes to their narcissistic ex, they just feel totally powerless. And even in the aftermath of divorce, custody, even years later, what I'm accustomed to seeing are people who are still just really, really wrapped up and completely embroiled in the custody or divorce situation. They spend still an exorbitant amount of time each day thinking about them, ruminating over the behaviors, ruminating over the problems and the issues happening in the divorce or the custody or the attempted co-parenting, and it really consumes them. They are just wrapped up in it. As a result, it has a tendency to compromise every other area of their life, including work and/or especially if they get into a new marriage. It's like that marriage, that new relationship will definitely suffer as long as it's like they are almost obsessed with this old relationship. The traumatized part of the brain is almost gets stuck in this feedback loop of feeling like they have to find a resolution. There are lots of ways to go absolutely insane in these situations, and one of them, and this will probably be a separate video to be honest, is to attempt to make sense of their behavior based on your own set of paradigms, beliefs, and approaches in life. The more you do that, the crazier you're going to feel. And so I will probably do a separate video on that, so make sure that you like and subscribe. So when it comes to winning, this idea of winning, you have to move away from this idea that you have to maybe somehow defeat them or overcome them or conquer them. And problem with people who have personality disorders, and this is true for borderline as well as narcissism, if you attempt to do that, and if you push them really far, they're willing to burn you down. They will burn themselves down too, even if it means taking you with them. Which means that they're willing to go to extremely great lengths to quote unquote win, because they don't approach co-parenting or custody situations as wanting to find or determine what's best for the kids. What is the best co-parenting or parenting practices for the children involved. If you approach it like that, you're going to go nuts. You're going to lose your mind. And I've seen a lot of people do that where they're just like, why can't they see that this is bad for the kids? And the truth is, they're not paying attention to that. They're not as concerned about that as you are. And you could sit there and go, well, why not? Well, it doesn't matter why. They're just not, and they're not going to be. And the more that you expect them to be as concerned and as invested in the best outcomes and the well-being of your kids, the more you're going to be disappointed, frustrated, hurt, angry, and just wrapped up in all of this. And so I'm kind of getting off track here. If you really want to beat a narcissist, if you really want to win, the truth is you have to be as completely liberated and free from them as possible. If what I had previously described is true for you, fact of the matter is they're still controlling you. Even if you've been divorced for 5 years, 10 years, and you're still wrapped up emotionally and mentally wrapped up in the ways that I've described here previously, then you are still being controlled by them, and therefore they are winning. What's really bizarre about narcissistic types, this is true for borderline as well, again, is they almost often seem to harbor this feeling, this belief, or this desire to bring the family back together. A lot of people report to me that their narcissistic ex was virtually absent until they got into a new marriage and a new relationship, and suddenly their narcissistic ex resurfaced coincidentally, right? It's not a coincidence. They don't want to see you happy with someone else, because that causes that brings up their demons. It triggers their demons. Their demons are going to rise up inside of them big time. And so you can expect them to cause a lot of chaos. One of their goals might be to sabotage your new relationship. And quite frankly, sometimes it works. And the trick is to learn to be free of them. To be free. Not concerned about what they do. Not concerned about what they say. Not embroiled and wrapped up in all the emotionalness of this. And so the trick is, right, how do I get there? Now, I've talked about this in other videos, and the truth is those who have exes who are narcissistic or borderline, they always come to me almost in a state of where they're frantic. And unfortunately, and I call these parents the apologetic parents because they're almost always apologizing. Even when they come to session, it's just sorry this and sorry. It's like, I've even told them, like, every time you apologize to me unnecessarily, I'm gonna charge you an extra $1. And usually cures them. I'm serious, by the way. Like, if you apologize for things that you shouldn't be sorry for, actually you're going to communicate the wrong things about you. A lot of people see it as a weakness, and you don't want them to see it as a weakness. It's unfortunate that the world works that way sometimes, but that's just the truth. And so the apologetic parent usually comes to me when they are at their wit's end. It's like, well, it's starting to get bad here, but they don't seek help until it's like all the way progressed over here. And it's like in full breakdown mode. It's messy. I have other videos where I show that infographic where there's like 4 components to these situations. There's parenting, there's co-parenting, there's court, and there's self-care. And the apologetic parent, I'm always like self-care. And they look at me like a deer in the headlights a lot of the times. Like, they need their overactive limbic system, okay? If this is your brain, right? And if you unfold the frontal cortexes, inside is the middle brain, okay? The limbic systems. I talk about this all the time. When this is overactive, you're going to be frantic, you're going to be irrational, you're going to be afraid, you're not going to respond well, you're going to crumble, you're going to fall apart, you're going to be easy to manipulate. It's going to be super simple to gaslight you. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. You must soothe the limbic system. You must get out of this fight or flight mode, and that's why the self-care is important. When you are really engaged heavily and first into your own self-care, then all the other areas suddenly become a little less scary, a little less problematic. There's more rationality and logic involved in decision making and approaching these situations, so that you can effectively problem solve. If you're in a state of fight or flight from your middle brain, your limbic system, you're not going to effectively problem solve them. You're just going to keep falling for the same tricks over and over and over again. So you must engage in self-care. The fact of the matter is, when these people come to me, they want fixes. They want me to say, do this, not that, do this, not that, and do this, not that. But a lot of the things that I tell them to do, you should do this, they look at me like, you're crazy. Because the irrational part of their brain is saying, well, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And even though we can objectively prove what you've done so far has been abysmal failure, it has ended up being worse. And so self-care, you must engage in self-care. You must manage your stress. You must manage your anxiety. You must make your needs a priority. Your five physical needs and 5 mental health needs, the 5x5 priorities. You must do this. And I have been, some of the people that I have worked with recently, I have been after them about this. No, self-care. Okay. And they come back and they're feeling better. They're less worried. They're less frightened. They're more at peace, and they're not so much in that state of being frantic. Okay, so if you really want to beat the narcissist, you really want to win, be completely free of them. Be completely free of their influence. That is the ultimate win. That is the ultimate W, okay? So stop trying to play their game. Stop trying to conquer them. Stop trying to take them to court and beat them. You will decimate your life, okay? Learn to be free of them. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, okay? Have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. See you.